I'm Fanlox, and in 2022, I won the SMF Wrestling Blue Belt World Championship. So, SMF Wrestling is an action figure wrestling channel, and you might be thinking, Fanlox is a human, how can I, a human, win an action figure wrestling championship belt? Well, that was part of the storyline. To make a long story short, the wrestlers, their company got taken over by this guy, and this guy's name is Chuck. So Chuck is a master manipulator, and he manipulated his way to become the general manager of SMF Wrestling. And soon that power went to his head, and he became the owner of SMF Wrestling. Like a year later, he abused his power, and Chuck basically booked himself to win against all of the fan favorite wrestlers in SMF Wrestling, and nobody could beat this man until me, Fanlox. I used to be on commentary, and I created the original SMF Wrestling, and I could not bear to sit here and watch this freaking bird guy take over the show and ruin it for everybody. So I had to step up off of my commentary desk, and I had to fight back, and that's what I did. Alright, so this was uploaded on May 14th, 2022. It has 18,000 views. This was 5 days before my birthday, May 19th. So this is interesting. I have not seen this match since it happened, since I lived it. So here we go. Fanlox versus Chuck. 2 years later, let's see my reaction. Once upon a time, yes. So this was narrated by SMF Wrestling's Paul Heyman. And so this was actually lore. This went from back in 2016. There was Chuck was the villain of Super Mario Fanlox, which is my other channel. And he basically did the exact same thing that he did back in 2016. And he took his personality and his evil ways, and he brought it to 2022. So it's long-term storytelling even before SMF Wrestling was even this big company. And that's the thing about SMF that many don't really pay attention to, but SMF is a long, carefully crafted, there's like so many little hints and Easter eggs and so many little long-term details that not many people will ever get because we live in the TikTok generation where everybody scrolls and they only watch 30-second videos. I don't want to get too political here, but there is so much detail that goes into SMF that so many just don't know about or don't really care about, but it is what it is. So this is the storyline. So we actually start off with a video package, and this video package is very nice. So it goes over basically what I just said. Chuck essentially ruined careers, and he ended the Undertaker's streak. He beat Mr. Incredible, who was just crowned as the new face of SMF Wrestling, and he gave himself the King of the Ring. He took King Scooby-Doo's crown, and he was just taking everything. I mean, he took everything from everybody. And then this is when I stood up, as we just went over. So I have a background in wrestling. It's a very niche background. It's like I never really wrestled, but there's a history of the Fanlox character. So the Fanlox character is the guy with the long hair and the beard that's on the t-shirt, and this is the guy behind the camera. But yeah, there's me through my various wrestling past. I used to be there's Kofi Kingston. Okay, so I actually met Kofi Kingston, and he let me hold the real belt. That's actually funny that got in there. And yeah, so this is basically going over the complicated Fanlox lore that you can discover on the Fanloxverse channel. And yeah, there's a channel for the Fanlox lore. For those of you who don't know, again, this stuff is so carefully crafted, and so it's very much a story-driven thing. And if you can't pay attention, you're never going to see stuff like this. And you probably never will see anything like this from anybody else. Like, it's very unique. But the rise of Chuck. So this is the next chapter of the storyline, and actually this is the final chapter, and the match starts. Volume warning, ladies and gentlemen, because Chuck did this thing where every time he showed up, he would blast Chuck, the greatest ruler ever! And just like that, we are all deaf after losing our hearing to Chuck and his entrance. Chuck's theme song is very cool. It's a song that I just randomly found. I'll put the title of the song here. I don't know it by heart, but it's a really cool song. And it's the perfect song for Chuck's, reign of terror. So he had the Lucha Mafia, which were this group of luchadors who actually he paid to be his bodyguards, or his it's kind of like his security. There's the King staff, by the way, which I lost that King staff. I was trying to find it for the 2024 King of the Ring, and I couldn't find it. Where is that staff? I need to look harder then, because that is a king staff with the king of the ring. King Chuck. He was the world champion. And wow, look at this man. I mean, you hear boos, right? Like in the video, but like in real life. And if you look at the live chat while watching this, like people hate this man. And that's another thing about SMF Wrestling is that there is pure hatred for toys, right? Now, what does that tell you? That I get death threats over bad guy wrestlers winning on a toy wrestling figure show. What does that tell you? Does it tell you that people are crazy and people are nut jobs? No, not at all. What that tells you is that SMF Wrestling is so good at creating bad guys and so good at making you feel that people get so lost in the story that they think that it's real. Even though you can see my hand controlling the toys, people literally think that this is real, and they were threatening me and threatening my life and threatening to come kill me just because that Chuck was the champion. That's how serious this got. That is a sign that SMF Wrestling is good at making you believe, and that's all that matters in a wrestling company. WWE, AEW, whatever it is, this is wrestling. And that can be controversial. Well, look at the live chat. Look, people are saying, if Fanlox loses, we riot. So, and then here I come here in a minute. So this match is actually very special to me. And not only did it take place in my birth month of May, but this was my opportunity to really live off my dream that I unfortunately never got to live. And that is to be a professional wrestler. So we are born with gifts from God, right? And God has plans for all of us. And his plan was not for me to be a professional wrestler. I'm borderline 100 pounds. I am very short, and I'm very skinny, as you see. Like, I've been compared to middle school girls, as in there are middle school girls that are bigger than I am. And it's not because they're fat, it's just because I'm small. So really, but here's the thing. I injure my neck when I sneeze. Like, I am very fragile. And at best, I could have been a referee in real life wrestling. But unfortunately, in 2021, my hard dose of reality hit me that I never will be a professional wrestler. So just the fact that I got 18,000 screaming fans right now that are real fans, and there was like hundreds of them that were in the live chat right now for this. Just the fact that I got to wrestle for a championship with people cheering for me and wanting me to win, it's just like, I got to kind of live my dream, you know? And here it is. It was an action figure form. I was made out of plastic, but I count this, you know? So there we go. I take that shirt off, and fun fact, I actually spent 2 years going to the gym consistently, so I can get into shape for this video. As I tell you, I'm so dedicated to this show, and it's very sad that most won't ever know. But yeah, SMF Wrestling has so much heart put into it. Because at the end of this, spoiler alert, but at the end of this, I go back to the real world and I actually bring the belt with me. And then you can see my physique. In real life, I tried to make it match the action figure. So I actually put in the work in real life to do that. But we'll get into that later. Here's the face-off, right? The biggest bad guy ever versus the man who literally created all of it. And it's literally the perfect storyline, and I think it's the end of both Chuck and me. Like, I don't think me or Chuck could ever show up ever again, like after this storyline, because it was written so perfectly, it ended perfectly. It's in, you know, like it's over. Nice referee, I believe that is referee John Cone, SMF Wrestling, also IRL real wrestler, referee also. And the bell rings. So my attire is me in jeans. And when I was younger, I liked Dean Ambrose, actually. When I first got into WWE in 2016, I was in 6th grade. And my favorite wrestler was Dean Ambrose. And I wanted to be like Dean Ambrose. So I wore jeans when I wrestled, just like Dean Ambrose. Oh, and there's a nice drop kick. I can do a drop kick in real life. And there's plenty of footage of me doing that, but a drop kick is a huge part of my moveset if I ever were to actually wrestle. And I did have some wrestling matches like on YouTube, but those aren't real wrestling matches, but you know what I mean. I can hit that drop kick in real life. It's pretty cool. So look at me I'm going crazy on the Chuck. I'm getting the upper hand right off the bat, not playing around. Oh, but a thump to the eye by the dirty Chuck. That thump to the eye. I have pretty bad eyes because I stare at screens all day, and I've been doing this since I was a kid. And yeah, that thump to the eye freaking hurt, dude. And then he just continues to beat my back, which I have a history of like neck issues, so it's like, yeah, that's not good. And he's basically bossing around the cameraman, the referee, and he has every right to do it. Chuck, at this point, was the owner of SMF Wrestling. He literally bought the company, so those chops, nobody likes to be chops. Even in real life wrestling, chops do hurt because it is the wrestler chopping their hand right on your chest. And now he's just choking me out as he just beats me down to the ground. He's really rubbing it in. At this point, I'm freaking doozy. I've been beaten. My head has been smacked up against the freaking ring mat. Like, I'm out of it, bro. And, you know, it's all fun and games until you step in that ring. You know what I mean? Wrestling, everyone's like, it's fake. In real life, wrestling really does hurt. And then, like, the multiple strikes against the face, like, he is trying to injure me here. Like, he is actually trying to destroy me because he knows that I am the last hope. He knows that I am literally the guy who created this. So if he can take me out and end me for good, then he gets everything. His plan was to change the channel to the Chuck Show. And if that happened, everybody would have unsubbed. But there was a cheap shot. I got hit with the staff, but I still kicked out of it. Because I've got heart. I've got motivation. I know that there's 18,000 people that are rooting for me. I can't let them down. And then I reversed it. I did a nice clothesline, forearm to the freaking face. And that gave me some time to actually catch my breath and kind of recover. I did another drop kick. I tried to freaking end it. But he's got fight left in him. Chuck has a history of wrestling. He's tough, so. But I know that he's down. So what I'm gonna do is I know he's down. I'm gonna throw everything that I got. I've got that adrenaline pumping. I'm gonna keep fighting him because I know he's down. Don't let him get back up, right? So I keep going. Nice strikes. I don't really have much of a moveset because, as I said, I'm not a real wrestler. But I think. Oh, there's a freaking neck breaker. I did do that neck breaker though. That was a pretty cool move. And of course the coward rolls to the outside because he knows that I was basically beating him there. And if I would have continued that assault, I would have beat Chuck. And now he's getting frustrated now. And I'm in the ring, right? And I'm not going to let him recover, so I'm going to roll out there and I'm going to chase him. But he hits me with the staff, and it's all legal because he's the owner. And is the referee going to disqualify the owner? Because if the referee does that, Chuck's probably going to fire him, right? So Chuck is like the final boss of The Rock, right? Chuck is The Rock before The Rock. He's the final boss Rock before the final boss Rock. It's literally funny. Oh, solid steel steps to the back. You don't want to take that. That really hurts. And he's just mocking me because he's just an evil person. You know what I mean? And is he going to go for... Oh, the pedigree. Yeah, you don't want to be dropped on your face. I have a pretty big nose, so being dropped right on your face, it like hits your nose. It hurts. And I'm not Ferb, so I can't hit my nose and then all of a sudden go crazy. I'm a normal guy. So... And then he goes for the steel chair because he can do what he wants. And a steel chair to the back always hurts no matter what. And we're only about like we're probably 5 minutes into this match, and I've already gotten beaten down. I had a little bit of hope, but he's just gonna keep cheating. And the crowd, they're trying to get behind me. They're trying to chant for me, but like. As strong as your connection is to the audience, if you get hit in the back with a solid steel chair, you're not going to get back up. And he tries to, and he's going to end it here. But I kicked out because I know what's on the line. During this moment, I'm like, I can't lose this because if I lose this, then we lose SMF Wrestling. And there are so many thousands that love this show and, you know, do watch it all the way through. And they do actually appreciate the little things. And for them, this is why I wanted to do this. Like, you know, I couldn't just lose that easily. Because I'd be letting down so many people if I lost. So he's basically saying Chuck's gonna own me, and if he would have won this match, then yes, he would have owned me. And then like his foot, his dirty foot, it stunk. He put his foot up against my face and just kicked me while I was already down. But I wasn't going down. I keep kicking out. I keep getting back up, man. It doesn't matter how hard you push me down. I'm gonna get back up. And there we go. And he's gonna pick me up. The crowd knows it's over, but no! Another clothesline out of the freaking out of nowhere. And this is my chance. I'm making some kind of comeback here. I don't know how I'm doing this. I've just had enough of this assault, and I go for another drop kick. Wow. I had some fight in me, didn't I? But he kicks out. It wasn't enough. But yeah, during this moment, you want to take as much time as you can to kind of recover from all those attacks that I just got hit with. So I had a little bit of time to catch my breath and, regain my consciousness. And Chuck is definitely hurt at this point. I go for the Rough Rider, a.k.a. Radio Silence, which is the move by Zack Ryder, a.k.a. Matt Cardona. And fun fact, Zack Ryder is my favorite wrestler ever. So, a little homage there to my favorite wrestler ever. And then, of course, the Lucha Mafia come out to try to help Chuck win, but I take them all out. I expected that, because every show they would interfere, but I got low blowed right here. And if you've ever been low blowed, male or female, it hurts, okay? And I got hit with the staff. I'm done by this point. I got low blowed. I got knocked out with the staff, but my hand was next to the ropes. Now, I've been watching WWE. I know that if you get your hand on the rope during a pin, that's called a rope break, and you don't lose. So, luckily, I prepared for this match, and I knew, if I'm next to the ropes, do it. I low blow him back because he deserves it. Chuck, he deserved that. He low blowed me first. It was perfectly justified that I low blowed him back. I didn't want to play dirty, but if he played dirty first, then I'm going to play dirty too. And then he gets back up. Oh. Now, we're both hurt, though, because we both got low blowed. Enziguri. And that's actually my finishing move. I didn't really have a real finisher, so my finisher was like a jumping sideways drop kick thing. But the Lucha Mafia break up the pin, so I would have beat Chuck there, but the Lucha Mafia, Chuck called the Mafia on me and started beating me up. And this is cheap. With the barbed wire bat, yeah, you don't want all those spiky things going into your skin. Not going to be good. So I got destroyed. At this point, I've got no memory of any of this because I'm probably knocked out cold. And I got chokeslammed. Don't remember that because I was knocked out cold. And it's over, right? I lose. But SpongeBob, he's the man who created SPW. SpongeBob shows up out of nowhere. We have not seen him in years because he went to go make SPW and then that failed. But he was gone and then he just shows up out of nowhere. And here's another piece of storyline. SPW failed, and it was only because of Chuck putting SPW out of business. So SpongeBob got his payback, and I try to capitalize, but the Lucha Mafia break it up. But there's another piece of carefully crafted storyline. SpongeBob is back for his revenge, not only helping me, but getting payback. And it's just so great, man. It's so great. I may be biased because it's literally my show, but guys, look at it. Look at the way that I just described it. You can't tell me that's not good booking. And then, okay, so I got beat up, though. I got beat up real bad. I got chokeslammed onto the chair. And again, I'm still wiped out because, if it wasn't for SpongeBob, I would have lost. So I've got no memory of any of this. And that's another chokes him on the chair, but then Triple H comes in. So Triple H was one of the guys that Chuck beat, actually. And Triple H, once again, is getting his payback. And at this point, this match is just Kurt Angle, which was the general manager of SPW, who also got screwed over by Chuck in the election. Again, that's another former foe of Chuck. And this is basically Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns 2 years before it happened, because The Undertaker comes out. Because Chuck retired The Undertaker. So essentially, I predicted that from 2 years in the future of WWE. It's kind of funny. The Undertaker shows up just like he did this year. That's hilarious. And it's all of the people that Chuck screwed over in the past. And Chuck knows that he's screwed because all of his past enemies are there. And his Lucha Mafia got taken out. And now everybody's going to do their finish on Chuck. It's the ultimate payback. If these guys didn't show up, I would have lost because I'm just an ordinary guy and I got beat. I got 1-on-5 handicap beaten up. But luckily, and then there's Scooby-Doo, the guy who Chuck beat for the King of the Ring crown. And there's Mr. Incredible, the guy who Chuck beat for the blue belt title that I would soon win here in a second. Everybody beats up Chuck, and by this point, I'm back awake. I see that he's down, and I get up, and I hit my finish. Boom! There it is. There it is. A little bit early, but boom! And there it is. And I won the title. Just like that. So the stipulation was that if Chuck loses, then he loses his job as the owner, and he has to be blacklisted from the company. Nobody can ever even mention Chuck's name ever again. So not only did I save my own channel, but I won the belt, which was a childhood dream of mine to actually be a wrestler and be a champion. And, you know, there are people in the live chat crying tears of joy right now. And it's kind of cool to see all these people cheering for me and wanting me to win. And I won the belt. Now, I'm not a fan of owners putting themselves in a wrestling match and making themselves champion. I think it's very cringe. But this was needed. The storyline was there. It was perfect. And we'll get into that in a second. But I jumped through this portal. And it's the portal back to the real world. And I still have the belt with me. I'm still in my ring attire. And if you see, literally, look at me. I'm pretty decently built. I got some, you know, a little bit, just a little bit. And then my friends make fun of me for this because I was just living it in the moment. And I was celebrating. And I brought the SMF Wrestling Universe belt to the real world, which is this world. It's kind of crazy. And there's me celebrate. Wow. What a moment. What a match. What a show. Yeah. Zack Ryder would always kiss the bus when he won both, so I did that. But I think he got that from like Shawn Michaels or something. And what's funny is that belt couldn't actually fit around my waist because I am so small. So the belt couldn't fit around my waist. After I won that match, there were a couple different videos that came out on right here on this channel, my vlog channel, where I vlogged with the belt. But I had a very short-lived title reign because, as I just mentioned, I think it's very cringe when any wrestling owner puts themselves in matches. A week later, I came out one last time. And this was the last time that you ever saw me on SMF Wrestling television. And I vacated the title. I basically vowed to undo every bad thing that Chuck ever did. And I vacated it. And then soon Mr. Incredible won that title after it was vacated. And then Mr. Incredible went on to be a literal future Hall of Famer. And then the rest was history. So overall, great match, great storyline. It was awesome for me that I even got to, you know, win a belt with 18,000 people cheering for me to win. SMF Wrestling merchandise and the Fanlox merchandise, if you like me from when I was a wrestler for about one match, you can buy that on my merchandise shop. It's still available. SMF Wrestling will always hold a very special place in my heart. And whether you love it or you hate it, you cannot deny that SMF Wrestling is different than anything else you'll ever see on any kind of wrestling channel ever. So thank you for watching.